Hey everyone, Corey here, coming in to do our weekend channel message. This is for the weekend of December the 16th, and the 17th and the 18th and 19th. I'm recording on the 17th, but the energy was yesterday that I was starting to really pick this up and didn't get a chance to fully record it yesterday. So I'm coming in to do it today. So welcome everyone. And if you're new to my channel, then I would love for you to subscribe and hit the notification button to get all the updates of when I post something new. So my work is very much in channeling and mystic work, and also psychic medium and life coach and everything in between. I'm the founder and creator of More Than Existing and the author of More Than Existing and My Truth of Existing Beyond the Reflection. And so these messages, I never know until I start exactly what's going to come. I can just feel, I just have these things that keep coming through that are, that are reminding me. And today I'm working with the angels. And so I have a strong sense of the angelic realm that has been with me for days, and that need to really clean and clear a house, which I spoke about in one of the channeled messages a few weeks ago, that said it was very important in December to make sure that we clean and clear a house. And that means clean and clear our physical home, but also the home that we are, that this, who we are, this is a home. And that we have to really take this time in December to clean and clear out our cobwebs, our hidden secrets, the parts of ourselves that are not really our truth, getting to know that truth, making space for new beautiful things. And if we continue with the old going into 2023 and into the big shift that's happening, not just because it's not because the number is changing, it's because there is a big shift in the planets in coming in the early parts of 2023. But there's also a big shift with the divine, and I do know this by my experience of working with them. And when I hear them land and when they fall, when they land here on earth, or when they break through the skies, and when they come through in such powerful ways, that they are a force to be reckoned with. And I feel like the divine is going to be a force to be reckoned with coming into 2023. And I spoke about it in this week's full long message as well. And I just said, the divine is going to enter in spaces of people that they didn't even know was possible. And a lot of, conquering our darkness and conquering the darkness of dark forces of ego and thought is, it's not always so humanly possible and easy for us. We need something that intervenes and intercepts our own thoughts, our own way of being. And when we consider that sense of you, and when we speak of you, and we speak of that sense of you as in your thoughts and your actions and those things that play out, not you as a person. It's not a pointing a finger. And when you learn to not point a finger at yourself, and you look in and go, how did I get here? How did this happen? How did this become the story that I lived out? How did I allow it? How did I allow these things to take such a hold that it affected many things in my life? But also here I am today. So here I am in this present moment. And in this present moment, what do I do at this present moment? And as this beautiful entering of this angelic realm enters into our space and enters here, I know Archangel Gabriel has been very present with us, and Archangel Gabriel is the push. And I feel like this Archangel Gabriel is pushing us. And when I see Gabriel, I feel the sense of the divine and the masculine force of Archangel Gabriel, that of the right hand side of God, that of the right hand of us, of our driving force, and the divine within us, and that sense of self is driving us forward. And so on this weekend energy, there is the presence of a strong angelic force, an angelic realm that has entered in. And I often see newer energy, but this is like the return of the old. So this is like the comeback. This is like the comeback of even those who were pretending, or that didn't know that they were actually being influenced by imposter light. And they were talking about, Metatron being infiltrated, and Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Michael and all that being infiltrated. Well, it's simple as this. What they tell me is that the vices that intercept our virtues are the things that we then allow to become our virtues. And so that world cannot be intercepted by anything other than God, other than the greatness. And the only thing that it does is that it just enhances and amplifies love, divine love. And divine love is unconditional love. But unconditional love doesn't mean, oh, come here, little Johnny, let me pat you on the head and just keep doing your bad behavior, your unacceptable behavior, the behavior that's influencing and affecting your life. It's the things that's keeping you from your happy life. And so what's happening is that we are seeing a presence of this, the old school of the angelic realm, of the power of the seven coming back in. And as we see the power of the seven coming back in, is that we see the seven major archangels entering back into the realms. And it's all taking place, like it's really big this weekend. And what they're telling me is that this is a very big force entering in this weekend and entering in during this time, preparing us, getting us ready for what is to come. And it might sound totally crazy to you, but when you look at virtues and vices and you look at all those things, is that it's strength, it's courage, it's faith, it's hope. It's all of those things that we need within ourselves to be the driving force. And by within ourselves, it means that we don't, when we look at ourselves, and the way they tell me this is when we look at ourselves, we don't look at, this is what someone else made me feel like, this is what I picked up outside, is if this is reflecting onto me, what exactly is it within myself that I need to clean house of? What exactly within me that I am being in this moment that is keeping me from my sense of becoming? What is keeping me from allowing myself to embrace or prepare and be ready for blessings and miracles and opportunities and beautiful things? And why am I self-sabotaging right here at this crucial point? And so if we look at it tarot-based, if we look at it, story-based, if we look at it in the way of major, minor arcana, would be a major moment. This is a major moment. This is a major moment in time. That means that we have to really look at ourselves and look in at ourselves. And you can't take the world with you. And as you grow and evolve, not everyone goes with you. And so this sense of this divine presence and what I'm being shown is, so when you look at, say the swords or the wands or the cups, right? Or the pentacles, when you look at all those places, you have the seven. So when you hit that seven, it's a turning point, right? It's a turning tides point of our lives. And so when we get to that turning point, when we climb the mountain, and here you are at a peak. So we're in a peak. And in this peak moment and up on those peaks, and that's where the portal energies for most angelic, where the angelic beings often come in, is from the peaks. They are in the mountains, they're in those places, those portal energies, those gateways of opening energies are very present in those places. And at this peak, at this moment, as we look back through, we have the choice to become kind of the outdated version of ourselves, to keep living our old ways and just like, oh yeah, that's just who I am, that's just what I am, that's just the way we do, and I'm going to be a rebel to all of this. Or, right, and so what will happen is you'll exist in lower vibrational frequency, low, like within yourself, like you'll be communicating. So the way, what I mean by frequency is not science, is the sense of you will be communicating to yourself in a way that allows you to stay connected to the ups and downs, the valleys and the peaks, in a way that keeps you having temporary highs and longer lows. So your highs will be even shorter than ever before, and your lows will be even more dragged out. They will be more continual. And it was just like this sluggish. Will you get the opportunity to be able to change again? Of course you will. Everybody does. But this is we're getting this heads up, this notice. We're on notice, right? As the power of the seven archangels enter back in, and not to be discounted, not to have been forgotten. And for all of those who keep wanting to tell a different story about them, they're like, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter the story you want to tell. It doesn't matter to what else is happening. What matters is that they do what is called upon, and that is to enter back in to help us to be able to come to the other side of the peak, to be able to travel through the mountains into the valleys of love, into the valleys of beautiful things. Have you ever watched The Lion King? Well, that's exactly kind of how I seen it. That's exactly as I seen it, is that over here is all this, energy that just feels like it's just like burning away. And it's just like you can live in the cinder and in the ashes, and you can live in that, drought areas, or you can come over here and you can exist in the lust and in the beauty, in not lust, in the lush, beautiful existence of the possibility that new beautiful things are growing from the seeds that we planted, of the things that we really wished and wanted within our lives, that, joy, happiness, peace, beautiful things. They all only have an opportunity over here. There is no opportunity for it over here. And over here, it just feels like it's this dragging energy. And so Archangel Gabriel is just like never going to interfere in our will, because the power of our will is to never be forced, and we can't be forced. And so this is our big lessons to anyone in our lives or to our own. It's like you can't force something that somebody is not ready or prepared for, and they have to prepare themselves and be ready. It is the power of being able to say, yes, I am available, I am here, I am of service, I am ready, I surrender. All of those things. It's like, now I'm done. So in more than existing, it's I am done. I am done. I'm finding joy and happiness no matter the cost. And so Archangel Michael comes and prepares us, gives us the strength and the courage that we need to be able to go, but also a protector. And really, truly being a protector is, I'm here, I'm holding this space, I'm holding this for you. And even if you travel back here, I'm still here. I'm not leaving you, but I'm just telling you that this is going to be much more difficult. And as we move over here and as we shift over here, is that we are coming into a 2023. So if you look into a 2023, it also brings in the 7. So this brings back the power of the arc and the archangels, and that sense of being on that right hand side of our God, of our divine, of our God consciousness, of our greatness. That everything that we wait for is waiting for us to step into our greatness. And our greatness is in a healed, healthy self. It is in a self that is, and I just feel like there's just this interception of like, it's just calling out that sinister energy, pushing out that sinister energy. And so when we look at our world and we look at the people that we love, and we look at including looking in the mirror and looking at yourself, is, where am I in this journey for myself this weekend? What is it while I'm here, while I'm in pause, while I'm in rest, or while I'm, preparing in those last days before this commercialized Christmas? And don't worry, I like commercialized Christmas too. But, before we prepare for this, what thoughts am I telling myself? What am I keep returning to? What am I, what kind of language am I using in trying to communicate through something that my intentions feel pure, but my words do not? That I don't have that alignment, that when that my intentions are pure, my heart feels like it's in a good place, but when it enters, it comes from judgment. And so I'm placing judgment, and I'm being a critic, or I'm criticizing, and that includes even with ourselves. And so allowing yourself to move back into the pure intention. What was my pure intention when you stepped into a relationship, when you chose to be a parent, when you chose to get married, when you choose to do a job that you promised you do your best at, or, what was your pure intention? Back into the dreams, right? What was that pure intention? And where does that pure, what trailed that pure intention, and where did it take you from there? And where do we fall from grace, right? Where are those spaces that we just like lost ourselves, or are, because words are that lower energy, right? They tie to emotions and memories and how we've heard of them as definitions, but it's not enough. It's hard to use the language to be able to communicate our pure intention. And so if we allow pure intention to have more of an action, more of a human touch rather than a word, and be that, do those things. And so the human touch allows us to be able to clean space, make room, and to make room for ourselves in our lives, to make room for others, but to also then make rooms to be open to communication. And so the way for me to be able to be so strongly connected to the divine is because I've made space. And it's not that it makes me any more special than anyone else, or that, my communication is going to be, exactly the same as someone else's, but I make space and I listen, and I'm always listening. There's never a time I'm not in listening. But I also, because of that, because I'm always listening, I've also learned to listen to my own communication, to the language that is coming from my mouth, even from my pure intentions. So when it's the people that you love or the people that I care about, it's sometimes you get such a force behind that you want something so bad because you see the possibility of something in somebody's lives or people in their lives, that it gets lost coming out in that sense of you want it so bad that then you try to force it or push it, and you can't force or push. It isn't that is allowed to flow. And when love flows, when light flows, when what extends beyond us is so great. So when the sense of our light is extending out, and that's how the divine enters, it's that sense of that divine light, that essence that just we make space to enter in through us so that it can exude out through us, so that we can be a beacon. And that, through our own growth, through our own decisions, that others may want to climb their mountain, get to the peak, get to the top, and then see our beacon, miles down the road and say, I want to follow that. I want to not follow, but I want to be inspired by that light. And I want to chase that light. And that's kind of where I've been chasing my whole life, and chasing that of this imaginary friend that I call Jesus, that I had walked with since I was a little girl. And so bringing this in and bringing in and knowing that we have this amazing archangel group, and why they're all not talking. They're all here. They're all in a circle. They're all around me. And I've been sketching them for months, and I knew they were coming back. And as much as people would want me to respond to some of the comments about, the angels, I would have to just say, what is Jezebel has been everywhere. And you can't fight Jezebel. People have to be able to see Jezebel. You can't point out the sinister in somebody. And because people, even if we're really, really good, we all have a sinister. We've all made that enemy with something within ourselves. And through trauma, through hurt, through pain, we've all been there. And so the divine also doesn't want to come in and point that out to us, but is what happens is that the more we let the light in, the more that pushes out. And when you can see the face and the eyes of that which you are not, that you didn't realize had infiltrated so much of your thoughts and so much of your heart, and that you start to see that you're now like, I need more of this, or this is what I want to be a part of. So you maybe find yourself being drawn or attracted to more things that just feel like they're in the light. Less of the unhealthy conversations, less of the gossip, less of the not great TV shows, less of the action packed that comes with, triggering the response of fight, flight, fear within you. Anything that brings us into that fear state, or gets us to react or respond into that unhealthy self, will be not that we're trying to run or avoid, is because then we have the space to recognize what is real fear, what is false evidence appearing real, what is it that I really need to respond to. Because even when you're watching something and you're seeing it in action, and then you're like, oh, well, what I got going on is not that bad. But what you got going on within you, the things that are often going on within you, are the things that are actually being like a storm within you. They are a war within you, and they are causing that war. So then you believe it to not be so bad, because you're comparing it to something that was only a movie scene that was made up. And so it was imitation and not real, right there. But it felt real. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference, and your mind can't tell the difference between reality, right? How's it go? Something like your mind can't tell the difference between reality and imagination, like what is real, what is not. It just feels, right? It's just that feeling, just that knowing. And so that sense of what temporarily feels good, like, oh, that feels so good, I like that stimulation. No, sometimes it's that adrenaline, that dopamine, that temporary satisfaction. And the come down is way worse. And so as the angels bring us into this and bring us into this presence, is to really truly, where do I need to really be aware of my pure intentions, then losing the pure intention and getting speckles and spots. And where is it becoming more judgmental, and it becomes a force that then leaves a mark on somebody else's heart, right? The moment that your thoughts reaches somebody else, the hurt, the harm that is done is there. And so then the other person also then has to work through that. No, and so we're just sometimes adding on to what another person is already in. So being aware of that. And so that's why the angels don't try to force a lot of, they don't try to force those things up on us. They ask you when we're ready. When are you ready? Are you ready now? And or they just stand back and they just wait. They wait for the invitation. But when they land to the earth, when they come in from the angelic realm, from the angelic kingdom, and they enter into here, they're not asking for permission. They're just entering, they're coming, and they're coming for our highest good, and they're coming to be of service to us. And so 2023 will need a lot of the divine to step in, to really truly be that beacon. But we are right here, we're on top of this peak, and you're teeter-tottering, you're looking over, and you get the choice to go this way or that way. Now, going this way means you're going to have to put in the work. Going this way means that it takes effort. So, what do we want to really truly keep when we're cleaning the house? What's important to you? What are the things important to you? What are you ready to move? What are you ready to move out? What are you ready? And not really to make space to bring in anything extra right now, but what needs to go? What is important to me? What helps me restore my sense of integrity, my self-respect, my love, my own sense of worth, all of those things. And how can I be that to be support to somebody else? And so the angels also work as great support. And so the angelic realm loves to support us. They love to be there for us. So how can I be a support without causing even more of everything that we don't want to see? How can I be present with there? And then, just all those things for myself. And so this is how simple it is. I had 3 baskets of clothes in the bedroom, and it's been on my floor since this. And when I start cleaning it out, there was shorts from the summer in there. There was still tank tops in there. And I would just keep putting new clothes on top of, clean clothes on top of that, and more clothes on top of that. And then I would tell myself there wasn't enough room in the closet, not enough room in the drawers. And all it meant was that I had to just take the time. I had to be in the right frame of mind to open the closets. As I always say, one of the most beautiful things you can do for yourself that really truly helps you is to open your closet doors. And opening your closet doors in your house also opens the closet doors within you. And when you look at how much of your clothes is outdated, or how much you're waiting to wear someday, and how many things still got tags on it, all of that speaks volumes to where we are within our own self, in our psyche, in our lives. And so the angelic realm, the angels, kind of opens our eyes. They open the curtains. They open the doors for us to hold the space for us to say, look with love, look with compassion, care enough to make space for what is important, what is good, and make space for new. And because when you're full, you're not available. And so to make it so that you can be available. And when you see the things that are in there that, are maybe that you've been wearing for 10 years, and you tell yourself, oh, I really like that. I really like that. But in the meantime, it's dating you, it's outdated, but the only reason why you're holding on to it is because you hate to let anything go. You hold on to everything. And when you hold on to everything, it keeps you returning to old habits, old ways, everything else. And when you tell the same story, this is who I am, this is what I am. And that becomes that narrative. Well, here we go again. So moving forward, what do we want to do? This weekend is a good weekend for this. This weekend is a weekend to know that the forces are with us. And so there is the forces that are with us, and they're saying, as we're moving forward, it's going to take work, it's going to take action, but the way that our pure intention to really truly allow our pure intentions that have the highest good that is here for us is to do things of action, acts of love, acts of kindness, acts of self-care this weekend and moving forward until the end of the month. Well, forever, but it will create new habits, it'll create new ways, and it begins a new process. And so making this a part of our daily rituals and a part of our lives, and keeping the things that you do get organized, keeping them in place, right? And then being being aware. So those acts of love, being aware that when we do those acts of love, that you're not waiting for something to come back to you. You're not waiting because I did this for them, then they should do this for me. That you're not in the comparison, because there is two of the hardest parts to be able to get people to recognize is comparison and competition. And when we compare and we compete and we put ourselves in that competition, is we are in the presence of we are presenting the presence of a false self, and we are looking into another in comparison. But in there is also some truths. And so in those deep truths, is there something that may be influencing you? So is it something that's inspiring me? Or is it something that, is it something that inspires me? And I want to really explore my version of that, like that same, like benevolence, right? To be that kind that you can be inspired to create yourself. Or is it that sense of allowing it to kind of be your kryptonite? And when it becomes your kryptonite, you're going to quickly look for somebody else to be responsible for it. And even though you're still trying to do the work. And so when you're trying to do the work, but you're still looking into another, it's never going to be, it's going to be the peak and vat. It's going to be the high and the high, temporary high, and the longer low. So it's like, this is us making the shift from shorter lows, longer high. And so it's not temporary satisfaction, is a sense of realizing that happiness has always been here. Joy has always been here. Peace has always been here. And they have never, and this energy, just like the virtues, has never left us. And so the return to the virtues is to really catch and be aware of the vices that have contaminated our virtues and what we have made acceptable, and to make the clearings and make the space for a divine sense of self to start coming in. And so this weekend, the angels are with you. This weekend, they're holding space for you. They're with you. There is the power of the seven. And so there is the return of the old. They don't ever get outdated. It's like elder energy, but they also have a consistent growing and evolution of wisdom. So their wisdom is so beyond anything we could imagine, anything we could ever give words to and give language to. Is because they take everything that exists and then transmutes it into wisdom, and all wisdom is then amplified, and it grows and it evolves. And so knowing that we have the power of the divine with us, knowing that with the divine with you, you can make anything possible within yourself. Whatever your greatest darkness is, whatever your greatest fears, whatever your greatest kryptonite moment is, whatever has a hold of you, if you allow the divine to step in, if you give it, if what we cannot fix, we give to God, whatever God means to you, source, creator. And we just say, this is beyond my control. And I release and surrender control. And I give it into the hands of you. As I am at the right hand, I know that my strength and my courage is in that sense of using where I am strongest. Where am I strongest within myself? What is my strongest qualities? What is my strongest, it's like that right hand, left hand thing. It's like, where am I strongest? And using where you are strongest to help to rise up the areas where you are weak. And when you allow that, when you allow your strongest to rise up your weak, then both becomes balanced, and you have that sense of balance within self. And it's the same thing when we give over, surrender, I can't, and this is where, it's beyond my control. I don't know how to do this, but you do. And I say this every day to God. I'm like, I don't know how to fix that, but you do. I don't know the answer to that, but you do. So when you're ready, give it to me. Supply me with what I need. Bring forth what I need so that I can be that sense of who I know I truly am. And allowing that into your heart, to making room. So opening the closet, cleaning out, open up in here, cleaning out, opening up all the energy centers, clearing that space, surrendering it, letting it go. And letting go is not so easy. It sounds, it's not just like, oh, I'm just going to let that go. Letting go means you're going to bring it into your heart and just say, why, I've been trying to do this on my own for so long and it's not working. I need support. I need help. I need to ask. And I need to, allow and have trust that there is help out there for me. There's something that can help me through this. And that's where honesty comes in. It is where, being truthful comes in, and all of those things, which also tie into our virtues. And the more that we have that contaminated, those little white lies all add up. The secrets, those little tiny secrets become big secrets. And all of those things become destruction. And when all of those things become destruction, when we're at our lowest can be our most defining moment. And, many may be in a most defining moment right now. Many may be on their way to a most defining moment. But the most beautiful thing is there's an opportunity from our most defining moment. And there is love, there is support. And as we see these archangels come in, I will have many more messages in the days and the weeks to come, as they are just entering with such powerful, beautiful, joyful energy. And the last time that I heard Archangel Michael land this hard, as he landed recently, was right before the pandemic hit. And I was teaching an angel class at the time. And I had been in the bathtub, and I seen a war, and I seen people dying, and I seen a illness. And I got out and I was getting ready to teach class, and I was very ill at the time. And it was right before we had the whole announcement. And I just said, I'm like, I just seen Archangel Michael hit the road, and I just seen war. And we are going to head into a dark, dark time. And there is going to be, we need all of the support to get us through. And Archangel Michael was that support. He has been here to support us and to be here for us, because he couldn't interfere in the will of what the human race was about to do. And so not all the human race, but specifics of the human population. And that this would be something that could, that brings us into opportunity to see things for what they were, to also now see beyond those, but to know we're at the peak. It's like I say, the whole way through the whole experience, in the beginning, I say, just keep climbing up, to just find your way up and around. Don't try to climb straight up. Don't get stuck down here, but just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Just find your way around the mountain, find your way up out of this energy. And here we are at the top, and here we are working our way back down. So it's into the grounding, into the awareness of what's beautiful, what's wonderful, what brings us peace, what true love is for us, what happiness really means to us. And that sense of being free and liberated. It's all here, and it's all just waiting for us to fully embody, to step into it, to let ourselves be in the presence of this beautiful energy is a blessing and an opportunity. So I hope this weekend's message helps you in some way, and it aligns with you in some way, and that it brings you into a sense of knowing that they are also with you. Much love. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.